Welcome to thislifestyle.com, and this is TDL News in VR, episode number 1. This is our short take on the week's consumer news, recorded Friday 24th of May 2020 in AltspaceVR. Here we are in Altspace. I thought I'd give this a try. I've tried doing video versions. We've got a longer hour-long audio version for podcasts that you can listen to, but this is just, I'm going to focus on the current Windows Insider news and looking at the current state of some Windows releases, and then following on this in subsequent weeks we're just going to look at the news. So in this episode I'm looking at the current state of the next major update to Windows 10. This is an update coming soon to Windows 10, so we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at what's new in the Windows 10 fast ring. I'll explain briefly about the rings, and we're looking at what updates are available for the current releases of Windows 10. So first up, I'm going to talk about the next release of Windows 10. This is codenamed 20H1 for the first half of 2020, and it's going to be called the Windows 10 May 2020 update. Now, last week Microsoft announced the update. This has got a version number of 2004 because it's completed in April 2020. They haven't given us an official release date yet, but I can tell what we do know by the name that it's going to be released at the end of the month. It's going to probably go to what Microsoft calls seekers first. So those are the people that go into Windows Update, check for updates, and it'll be available there, say download and install. And for everybody else, it'll get pushed out over time, over the next sort of 12 months. And I've been testing this because I'm part of the Windows Insider program, which is a program where you can test development versions of Windows 10. It works on a sort of a concept of most risk and the latest sort of developments down to the slowest release pace and the current developments. So the fast ring is the most risky release ring, and that has the development version of Windows 10. It's not an actual version of Windows. It's all the sort of development that they're testing out. The next one down is slow ring, and that's the next version of Windows 10 that's currently being tested. And that is the May 2020 update at the moment. The release preview ring is always the next things that's coming for Windows 10, and that is currently doing the Windows 10 May 2020 update. If you're on release preview or slow ring, you can get those tests. Just a word of warning for Windows Mixed Reality users: if you're using a Windows Mixed Reality headset like I'm using, the May 2020 update's got a bug, so Microsoft recommend you don't use that with Windows Mixed Reality. You wait until it gets released, and they'll have a fix for that as well. So what's actually new in the May update? Well, I've got a full 10-minute video you can see on thislifestyle.com and on our YouTube channel that explains all the details. But the main headlines are: search has been improved, Cortana has been changed to more productivity focused rather than a sort of an Alexa competitor. There's more emojis, those funny emoji type things that you make with text. There's a new game bar in Xbox. There's something called cloud recovery, and I've got a separate video on that actually. It's a really nice feature where if your machine is running poorly or there's an error with it, you can tell it to reset and drag all Windows image down from the cloud, and over the internet it will rebuild your machine. You'll get a fresh sort of start with Windows 10. You can do it already using the sort of internal backup files, but this brings it down a fresh, and like I said, I've got a video on that showing how it works. There's improved settings, improved task manager, some improved network tools as well, so it shows you kind of where you're up to on the network, how much you've downloaded, that kind of thing. And probably most interesting for developers is WSL2, Windows Subsystem for Linux 2. Load of improvements in that. So if you're a Linux user or a developer, you really want to check that out. It's a really good update for Windows 10, and I've got a separate video on that, in how to install it and so on. There's actually a lot of improvements to Windows Mixed Reality, and like I said before, don't install it just yet, but when you do get it, you'll really like it. There's a movable keyboard that you can resize. If you use Windows Mixed Reality, the keyboard pops up in the middle, you can resize it, move it around. There's new support for the new Edge. There's a lot of good stuff on that. So that's rolling out probably next month, and if you're a Windows Insider, you can try that if you're on the release preview ring or slow ring. There's not a lot of risk on the release preview ring, it's just the next thing that's coming once Microsoft is testing it. If you want to be more risky, you can go to the fast ring, and the fast ring is currently on build 19613, and that is, like I said, all the development stuff Microsoft working on, not tied to a specific release. I found that pretty good. I'm actually using it now on my mixed reality rig. no major issues with it, but the next build could have a major issue with it and things would not work at all. So you can use it, make sure you use it on a test machine, not on your actual machine. Anyway, so 19613 is the current build. It's got some good stuff in there. They're like integration with Linux and Windows on the desktop with File Explorer. And the build that came out this week, 19613, just had additional support for Cortana in more languages. Now, what's on the current release of Windows 10? That's 1909 version, October 2019, or you may have 1903, March 2019. And this week, Microsoft released an additional patch. Every Tuesday they release Patch Tuesday. They release a set of patches. But this week we've also got an extra set of patches that have fixed some things like VPN issues on private networks, updates that prevented you from resuming games when you upgraded. So quite a few upgrade type issues fixed on there as well. All this stuff as well I've got on digitallife.com with all the details. So make sure you check out that. That's rolling out now to the 1903, 1909 as an optional update. Going forward, Microsoft is going to stop the optional updates and just release updates on a Patch Tuesday. So it's always the second Tuesday of the month, and that includes a roll-up of all the fixes that you need and that sort of. So that's what I want to talk about this week. That's the state of Windows 10 in the various preview rings and on release. If you're interested in more in this, we've got a full audio podcast that we do and talk about this, mixed reality, Altspace, we talk about smart home, all sorts of stuff. That's an audio podcast on digitallife.com, the Digital Lifestyle Show. You can find it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you want. You can find those as well. Also on our YouTube channel, I've got videos showing all these builds, what's new in the well. So thanks for watching this brief video recorded here in Altspace. We really enjoyed using Altspace as a place to do video. You can find out more on digitallife.com, at ISDX on Twitter, and look out for us doing a full hour-long audience show in Altspace coming soon.